Hello and welcome everyone to some August of 2023 pickup. Oh my god, it's August of 2023. Okay, anyway. Yeah, pickups. Video game pickups. There's not quantity wise there's a decent amount here, but there's not much besides like I picked up some shelf filler and stuff, but we got some stuff to talk about anyway. Starting with just a single Game Boy game. I picked that up weird. Turok. This is Turok Battle of the Bionosaurs, which is the Game Boy original game released to coincide with the first game after Acclaim bought Valiant Comics. I don't have much like real knowledge of what this game is other than like a side-scrolling action game, but I just felt compelled to get Turok stuff. If I see Turok 3 and Turok Rage Wars for the Game Boy Color, I definitely like want to pick those. I like any of the Turok games on Game Boy really at this point. It's just a silly little one there. And we have, surprisingly, a Vita game. I have not bought a lot of Vita games in the past several years, and I actually haven't bought a lot of this series either. This is Power Pros 2016, and obviously they make Power Pros games every year, and I think that I do like this series a lot, obviously. But I always, tell myself I really shouldn't just buy any ones I see, because there's so many of them. Basically, you'd be buying, 25 games across all sorts of consoles and stuff, or 25 years worth of games, basically, across all sorts of consoles. And I tell myself not to, because there's, 5 on the 64 that I have access to, and I can buy, 1 or 2 of those if I see the cartridges. And then there's 2 for the Wii and PS2 that I have both of, and those are the ones that I'd be interested in because they have the MLB license. So I've typically just sort of said to myself, no, don't buy these. They're not going to be the ones that you want to play the most, and there's a bunch of those. But this is on the Vita, so this is sort of like a cheap Vita game that I would actually play. So this was one of the few exceptions I'll make to that. Basically, it's a 2016 Power Pros game. A Vita for a console I haven't bought anything for in ages or played in a long time. I figured I'd give it a shot. We've got, I'm going to do Switch after this. We've got 2 PS4 games here. This one I didn't want to buy for a long time because I heard a lot of people say that it wasn't very good. But in that time span, I've heard a lot of people sort of come around to it. And the more that I play games from Supermassive, so I've played all but one Dark Pictures game at this point. I've played both of their major releases. I haven't played Hidden Agenda, even though I've had that for a really long time. And I heard from a lot of people that this wasn't very good, but even the games that I hear from Supermassive aren't very good. They end up being pretty solid anyway. And like I said, I've heard some people say that this isn't so bad. This is their only VR exclusive game, and yeah, that'll be interesting. Maybe it'll make me put the VR on again, because I haven't used that in ages. I still will pick up games for it because I think it's interesting, but I have not touched that PlayStation VR. Just the effort is so much. So yeah, another game from Supermassive. And then we have, I also put off buying this for a long time because out of all the shooters in the world, it definitely didn't feel like I needed to buy another one of these. But I ended up trading up to Deathsmiles 1 and 2, the 2-pack on the PS4. I did have Deathsmiles 1 for the 360. Just ended up saying, this is not expensive right now. I'm just going to grab this 2-pack of Deathsmiles. The setting is the thing that drives me away from this compared to all the other ones, including from Cave, which is who makes these games, and Cave is amazing. Their shooters are just absolutely exciting and fast-paced, and bullet hells and awesome. But it's the sort of I'll play a different one than this most of the time, but man, it's $15, so not bad. And on one PS2 game, we have Disaster Report. I now have, I think the first, I have both of the first two. So I have this, and it's called Raw Danger is the second one. There's a third one that didn't come out over here. And there's a fourth one on the Switch, and I think, I feel like I will pick up the fourth one on the Switch if I come across it. But for now, it's just cool to have the first 2 Disaster Reports. Sort of what day after tomorrow, weather, catastrophes and surviving them. It's cool concepts. I like them. We got some Switch games right here, but let's start with the big one. Same thing I did with the Castlevania regular collection. I decided I would trade all of my stuff. I would, clear out all the shelves of my regular Castlevania releases to get the special edition of that one. That was the Genesis one I got for that, and this is the NES looking edition of the Contra Anniversary Collection. So you of course get the regular game, which has Arcade Contra, Arcade Super Contra, North American NES Contra, Japanese NES Contra, Super C, Contra 3, Operation C, Contra Hardcore, and then you got 2 Pro Protector versions, which I think is either the arcade or the NES one that's Pro Protector, and the Super Nintendo one, so Contra 3. So Pro Protector is they just replace them all with robots, so that I think it's less violent, I guess. I think it's in Europe. So be a nice slip cover here with all the crazy stuff going on the front, and then it's got like a soundtrack. Doesn't have a ton of stuff in here. It's like a big poster and a soundtrack, and it looks nice. So this is my consolation for not collecting like every Contra. Unlike Castlevania, I only had like 3 Contra games before this anyway, so it's just a good way to get them all. I think I bought it digitally too for like $5 because they go on sale for $5 like all the time, these Konami collections. And I only bought the standard version. I pre-ordered the standard version of the Castlevania Advance Collection, and I'll probably end up doing the same thing somewhere down the line. But for now, I'm glad I have the pre-ordering for that. And we got some regular Switch games. We'll start with Super Mega Baseball 4. I just played a full... I started a franchise, which would theoretically go for multiple seasons, but I played a full season of it. We won the championship, but it was really exciting and really intense. And I'm just glad that Super Mega Baseball has a physical now. They had to go to EA to get it, but go buy this. Like, this is a great game. It's original, it's arcadey, it's fun, and now they even have, they went the All-Pro Football 2K8 route where they have legend players in it. So there's like 200 legendary players. Yeah, 200 plus legendary players. Old school guys, you can see on here. David Ortiz is on it, next to Hammer Longballo from the Sirloins. My team that I ended up doing a draft on, I got Juan Marical, David Justice, and a couple other people. But those 2 were really great, and I also had like original guys. So it's like they may not be real players, or they may be players that you're not following now or have had any like connection to before, but you will form a bond with them when you see them playing and you control them, and they become very reliable for you, or not reliable. So yeah, it's great. It's just really, really good gameplay that I recommend people check out. Now we've got Cobra Kai 2 Dojos Rising. I've now bought both of these games for dirt cheap, and I haven't played either of them yet. But Cobra Kai, yeah, the first one was like a 2.5D side-scrolling beat-em-up, and now it's like a full 3D one. And I don't know if either of them are any good, but I just think it's fun that Cobra Kai keeps getting games, and people have bought them, it seems. I just don't know if they're any good. We've got the House of the Dead remake. I was waiting on picking this up for a while, but it was on my radar for sure. So now, if you think about it, I got House of the Dead 1, 2, 3, and Overkill, which is that House of the Dead 4 port. I think I saw that in arcades like 10 years ago now. That's about it. And then we've got this one, Demon Throttle, right here. Now, I didn't want to buy this new. Some of y'all might have seen this because it's a Devolver Digital game. It does look really cool. It's like a top-down, like, shooty type of game. There's tons of games like that and everything. But the gimmick that they went with on this is that they didn't make a digital game. They only released this physically. You couldn't buy this on the eShop. And, as a big, like, collector and a physical first person, you'd think that I would be really into that. But I'm not. I'm not interested in people having less access to games. The physical first thing is to maintain the access to games while also having digital as the option for people who prefer it that way. Or, I don't have a problem with you being digital first. I just don't want physical to go away. And I'll buy your games more if I can physically own them. So this is cool. This is cool that you have a physical copy. But don't take that away from people who don't want that. So I didn't want to buy this new because I didn't want to support that weird attitude towards it. But I will check this out sometime soon. I've heard it's a pretty cool game. but that was its gimmick. It had a literal gimmick going on for it, for how they sold it, and I was like, I don't want to support that. I've got one Genesis game. This will be a little bit of a preview. There's a lot of SNES and PS1 sort of filler in here. I get that it's not the most exciting thing for people to look at, but you got the Arnold Palmer Genesis golf game. And a lot like I did with hockey a little while ago, I just kind of went through and I picked up all the stragglers that I had never gotten before for the golf games. And yeah, it's pretty much all golf. There's a little bit of other like sports titles and stuff in here. This is actually a coincidence because I would have picked this up at any time that I saw it. Street Hockey 95. It's awful. It's a terrible, terrible game, but it's hilarious. And I've always wanted to own it because it's just it's a bad game. But yeah, so on SNES, 3 of these ones here are 3. 2 of these are golf games. 2 are football games, actually, which is odd for me. We got the Jack Nicklaus golf, goes with the Arnold Palmer golf, and HAL Hole in 1 golf, which I'm surprised I didn't own yet because that's HAL, and it's actually supposed to be pretty good. Jack Nicklaus, I also heard was decent, so like I didn't pick up every single one, but like I picked up. I feel like I've gotten most of them at this point for Super Nintendo at least. I've got Super Play Action Football. This is something that I wanted to get because it's a Nintendo first-party product. It's got an arcadey look to it. It's cool. This game I've heard is bad. Super Slapshot. So this might be the last hockey game that's not an EA one that I, maybe have a Genesis one of this and Super Nintendo of that. This is Virgin Interactive. I don't think it even has. I know the picture on the front. It has a Bruins jersey and what looks like Canadians or possibly Capitals, but I don't know that they even have licenses. I have to actually see. And then lastly, this is a Super High Impact. This is actually a Capcom arcade game. Published by Acclaim on consoles. And I've heard some people say this is an awful game, and some people say that it's like not that bad. It's probably in the middle of the pack for football. Football is probably the hardest game to translate, especially to older consoles. So I don't typically get that into the older ones, especially. But one that has more of a like fast-paced arcadey one, I was definitely willing to give that a shot over some of the other ones. And then similarly on PS1, there's one in here actually I really went out of my way for because it's a pinball game. This is True Pinball for the PS1, which I feel like I've never seen. This has how many tables? 4 tables. And just knowing that there was another pinball game out there I didn't have yet for PS1, I wanted to grab that. Yeah, this is kind of garbage. This is putter golf. It's from the Simple 1000 series, or Simple 1500 on PS1. It's like mini golf, like something you get in Mario Golf as like a bonus mode. But it's silly. It's just to have all these golf games, What else for golf, though? Most of this is golf. I was thinking about it especially because I was writing the profile for Cyber Tiger on the 64, and I was like, I should try that on PS1. Apparently, PS1 one is different, but not that great either. I didn't get that, but I did get this is World Cup Golf from Eidos, and I always check like how many courses did you put in, because some people really really sold themselves on having a lot of course options, and some people just really wanted to get like, look how good it looks, look how 3D or digitized sprites or something like that, and I just like look at it, I'm like, how would you sell your golf game with is it 1? It's 1! This is a 1-course game, I think. World Cup Golf. Because it says play the course solo. I think there's a... Yeah, play your choice of any hole, front or back 9, or the practice course. So 1.5, I guess? Always very silly to me. I'm like, this is the PlayStation 1, people. This one, Pro 18 World Tour Golf. This is Signosis. They've got official pros here, like Mark O'Meara, Colin Montgomery, Vijay Singh. And we've got 3... licensed courses, so that's cool. Royal County down in Ireland, the Lost City in South Africa, and Coeur d'Alene in the USA, which is actually, none of those are particularly featured in other ones. Not ones that I see get featured in like PGA games. Maybe they didn't have access to them. Or maybe PGA, they got the leftovers, basically. You got the final round from Konami. This one's weird, and this one, This one is so funny to me. They say 6 texture mapped golfers. And the little blurb on the back is just so 90s. It's like, grab your club. In fact, we've given you everything a golf game needs except the tacky clothes. Like, oh my god. Chill. And the final round. And they had that Konami Sports Series thing where they had the balls from each sport. It's not like they were the only ones that have ever done that, but... VR Golf 97. This is the series is VR Sports. I forget what actual company. Gremlin Interactive. Yeah, they're not around anymore. Most of these people aren't around anymore. What am I talking about? And this place has... I want to say it's 1. It might just be 1. They have commentary. It says fully customized golfers. Does that mean you can customize the golfers yourself, or does it... I don't know. Like I said, it didn't... This is not well deeply researched. I just want to pop these in. I want to do like the gameplay videos I was doing for a little while with these. That was like 3 years ago during the pandemic when I was sitting at home. So I really don't have time for it, but it's something I always think I want to do. We've got, this is another simple 1500 series, All-Star Slammin D-Ball. This is basically Super Dodgeball, which I have a bunch of games in that series. It's not like it's Technos, but it's very similar to that. It's got a 2D style and everything. You get that. And lastly, this is just funny. It's Backyard Soccer on the PS1. Just because it's from the old style of like the 2D sprite-based like hand-drawn stuff, I just think it's cool. It's no pros, there's no licensing, nothing like that. It's just Backyard Soccer. You get the classic kids. It'd be interesting to see how this translates from the PC on that. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, a lot of filler, Super Nintendo and PS1 filler, but some other stuff mixed in there. And I'd like to just relax and just play some of these for like a day, but I don't have that luxury right now because I have work to do. I have so much work to do. I just started playing Ogre Battle, so yeah, I don't have a lot of time. But that was it. And I'll catch you next month. I already know some things that are coming up next month. Be a little bit more interesting than some of the stuff here. But yeah, peace out.